I've got one or two of these small containers knocking around garden, and they've got nice holes in bottom that's all been cut out, so really good drainage. And I thought, for a container garden, why don't we get some carrots going in here as well, because it's got plenty of depth and it ain't going to take up a lot of space either, which is key in that project that we're doing up there. And since we've got a couple of these, we might as well do parsnips in one as well, because that will work just as good. As always, we want to try and save as much compost as we can when we're using containers. So, because we're going to be putting carrots in this pot that'll probably only grow down to about there, we might as well fill this up with something more lumpy, which don't really suit carrots, but if they're not getting down that far, it's also not going to affect their growth. So we'll put about a third in there. It's quite lumpy stuff as well, so good for drainage. And then we'll fill it back up with some better quality compost. Ideally, what you want to be doing when you're doing carrots in containers is to mix your compost with sand, because the finer the consistency, the better the carrots will grow. If it's too lumpy, your carrots are going to split and fork and look a real mess. So it's always better to get really fine sieved compost like this, like we did in the square containers in the container garden, or you can mix it with some sand. And the same goes for parsnips as well. So now we've got that filled up with better quality compost, we're just going to even it out a bit, but we're not compacting it down because we need the soil to stay as loose as possible. So I'm just going to level it out a little bit with one of these. We're just trying to make a nice even bed for these seeds. Also, when you're doing this, don't add any fertiliser to it, because over fertilising can also cause carrots to fork. Now we just need the seeds. Now these are those Nantes early variety of carrots as well, and we want to make sure that we don't overseed this, because we're going to have a long job thinning them all out. So I always just try the finger and thumb method, rub in slightly, wait for a seed to drop, and then go around and try and space them as evenly as you can. If a few drop, don't worry about it, you'll just have to pick those out at a later date. I think that's quite enough in there, to be fair. Another option that you have got with this as well is, if you've got too many carrots growing in this pot and you don't want to pull them out to thin them, just let them grow on, and then you can harvest them as little baby carrots, and obviously you'll get more baby carrots in this than big ones. That's all down to your preference. So now we've got that bit done, I'm going to give them a really light covering using a colander, because we don't want to bury carrot seeds too deep. The finer the covering, the better. And then of course, last thing we need to do is water this in. And make sure you give it a good watering. The key to germinating carrot seeds is moisture. Don't let this completely dry out, or your seeds may not germinate at all. Just keep a check on it. And the best way to retain the moisture is to cover it with some cling wrap. It's inexpensive and it does the job. So we'll just cover it over like that, then cut off excess. And just a simple cheap thing like that is going to ensure that that you've got consistent moisture inside this until those seeds germinate. Obviously when the seeds do germinate, then just take this off. Now when you come to doing your parsnips, procedure is exactly the same. Apart from obviously you can't put as many seeds in with parsnips as you can carrots. The best way to do it, I always find, is to just put one in central like that. And keep them about 2 inches away from the edge, all the way around. That's going to give them room to grow. So I'll just do it like this. I'm just using these peas so you can see better. So a couple of inches away, and then one in between again. So by doing it that way, you'll be getting 9 parsnips out of this one pot, which I think's pretty good when you're trying to save space. So I always set them out like that, and then again a light covering of compost. So when it comes to watering your parsnips, it's a bit different to the carrots, because a parsnip seed is like paper, it's really thin. So if you keep it constantly too wet, they're going to rot before they germinate. And another good tip to know is, if you've got parsnip seeds from last year, throw them away and get fresh ones, because the viability of parsnip seeds is usually only about 12 months. And I've tried it 3 or 4 times in containers in the past with seeds that I only bought the year before, and never as one germinated. And I've basically dropped loads in just to see. So just in case, just to avoid you waiting for the seeds to germinate to find out a month later they actually weren't viable, always use a fresh packet of seeds, because parsnips do need a really long growing season. And that'll be it. A light covering of compost, cling film over the top once again, pop them to one side, and you've got your container carrots and your container parsnips all set up. Anyway, if you want to see how these turn out and the other plants we've got in that container garden, then just hit that subscribe button and press the notifications bell, and we'll see you at next video. You all take care. Thank you for watching.